It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news. This is the Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors.
Hi everybody, welcome into our show on a beautiful fall day in the Southwest region. We are going fishing today on one of my favorite lakes that, believe it or not, we have not been to yet this deep into the 2011 season. I'd like to welcome you in right now to beautiful Richland Chambers Reservoir, located in east central Texas, east of Corsicana. It's a great fishery. It's got largemouth bass, crappie, white bass, hybrid stripers, catfish, and it's loaded with all those species. I'm not sure what we're going to fish for today, but it's a great day to do it. Now, I want to not only welcome you to the lake, but show you that there is a lot of really dramatic impact around our region with the drought that's been going on for a year. Many lakes are completely shut down because all the boat ramps are out of the water. As you can see, we are backing off of the boat ramp right here with no problem. The Oak Cove Marina boat ramp is still fully functional, even though, as you can see right here in the background, the docks are way out of the water. You can see dry ground underneath them. Richland Chambers is 5 or 6 feet low the day we are here, but as of right now, the lake is still fully accessible. So while I'm out there fishing, we're going to take you around the region for your very latest fishing reports from Louisiana, Oklahoma, Texas freshwater, and along the Texas Gulf Coast. We'll also be taking you down to one of my favorite central Texas fishing lakes for the fall, Lake Aquila, later on the Lawrence Hot Lake of the Week. Also, we'll have the big fish photos on the big catch of the week, your Ask the Pro answer, and we'll have the Academy Right Stuff to tell you about the equipment you'll need. So right now we're taking the trusty Nitro Z8 out onto Richland Chambers, get ourselves situated, and while we do that, we're taking you back to the FSN studios. Here's Julie with your Chevy Weekend Planner.
Your prime fishing hours this weekend will be right around sunrise and a little bit after sunset. And the tables indicate it should be some of the best fishing of the month. Expect the sun to rise at 7:36 a.m. and set at 6:46 p.m. And we'll have a crescent moon 23% visible. Also, there are 2 Hooked on Chevy Kid Fish events taking place in Texas on Saturday morning. One in Brenham and another one in Mount Bellevue. Kids can catch fish and win some great prizes. And they may even qualify for the Chevy Kid Fish Classic. Visit southwestouttdoorsreport.com and log in as a fan club member. Then click on the Hooked on Chevy link to view all the upcoming events. Stay with us, we've got fishing updates from around the entire region, and I'll be back with 2000 Bassmaster Classic champion Woo Daves on the Ask the Pro feature.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors. Buy quality award-winning Tracker boats. Fish the finest. Lawrence, maker of the HDS, high-definition systems, and Academy. Right stuff, low price, every day.
Hey, welcome back everybody. You're on your Southwest Outdoors Report today at Richland Chambers Reservoir in east central Texas, a little bit east of Corsicana. One of the things that's critical this time of the year is using your electronics to locate where the schools of migrating bait fish are. Now to do that, I want to show you, I've pulled up on a big, deep underwater point. As you can see, it's a long skinny point that runs off an island, drops off to deep water on both sides. Next thing I did is found on my sonar some bait fish, and we'll switch it over here and I'll show you a shot up here on the front of my Lawrence HDS5 up on the bow, and you can see we've got some bait fish running underneath the boat. So the next thing we do is we just take a spoon or a slab, this happens to be a 1/2 ounce jigging spoon, pitch it straight down into those bait fish, and then just use little hops of the rod tip to hop it up and down off the bottom. There's something, hit it right there. Oh, good white bass. Yeah. A lot of those in this lake. All right, that's a good way to get it started right here. Good solid white bass. Those will actually mix with the hybrid stripers, and we'll tell you how to catch those coming up a little bit later, but that's a good start. There's what the jigging spoon looks like. So you've seen the chart, the map, the spots to look for. You've seen the bait fish to look for on the sonar. You've seen the spoon, and you've seen the white bass. Actually going to keep a few today in the live well. All right, let's get your fishing report started for the week. In the rest of the region, let's go east to Cajun Phil and Kevin there in Louisiana.
Hi friends, this is old Cajun Phil here. Sorry I don't have any pictures this week because I'm down here on the road. I'm traveling through South Louisiana trying to bring you up to date. Let's start off real quick with Chauvin, Louisiana. Chauvin is in the south end of Louisiana, south of Houma, Louisiana. Talked to Boudreaux's Marina. Captain Andre Boudreaux said they were catching lots of redfish, speckled trout, flounder, and big old drum. They're having a good time there. Now this week I'm going to be with Captain Bill Lake. He's from Duloc, Louisiana. Then we'll be bringing you that report next week, let you know what we do. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of footage, let you see some of the redfish and specks we catch it. So I'll tell you what, it was good up till this cold front, but that's going to make everything a different story. So we'll let you know what's happening next week after the cold front. Till then, this is old Cajun Phil from Fox Sports Southwest. Said, happy fishing, and may God bless, and we go see you next week.
Got him. Oh, good one. Big old white bass. Man, these are some good, solid, nice sized white bass. Well, let me tell you, fishing with a slab or a spoon is not only very effective, but it's one of the easiest ways to catch them. In fact, I'm going to throw that one in the live well, and I want to show you real quickly. Once you find these schools, you find the bait fish mainly. All you do is drop it over the side, push the button on your bait cast or open the bail on your spinning reel, drop it to the bottom. Once it hits bottom, lift it with a little snap, let it fall back. Lift it with a little snap and let it fall back. And you just repeat that over and over and over again. And if you drift across these schools and in the bait fish, sooner or later, one of those fish will pull your bobber down, jerk your rod tip down. It is a blast. It's easy. Anybody can do it. Child, bring that elderly person out, and as long as you can get them out over the top of these schools, they can catch these white bass. Stay with us. When we come back, Brian Hughes is up next with your Texas freshwater fishing and lake reports. Bill Olson is along the Texas Gulf Coast, and I'll have some more tips on how to catch white bass, including answering the question, why is a bottom bouncing slab spoon or tail spinner so effective? We'll be right back.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Abu Garcia for life. By Navionics. Enjoy Navionics anytime, anywhere. By Whataburger, just like you like it. And by Motor Guide Trolling Motors.
There's one. Richland Chambers. Oh, that's a good pull. These are some big old white bass. Look at the size of that one, man. Yeah, that might be a small hybrid right there. Welcome back, everybody. You're on your Southwest Outdoors Report today. I think that's just a plain old white bass, maybe. It could be a cross. Either way, fishing for white bass and hybrid stripers out here today. I want to show you something. Why do these fish bite better on the bottom on a slab spoon or tail spinner, a bottom bouncing bait headed into the fall? I'll explain it to you. As this water temperature begins to cool, the shad begin to migrate from the surface layer down to the bottom. When they do, the fish follow them there. As the water gets really cold, these little thread fin shad are very weak fish. They can't tolerate much of a temperature drop. They'll begin to die off, and when they do, they turn sideways and begin to flutter back and forth to the bottom. So you want to use something that imitates one of these little thread fin shad as they're fluttering to the bottom. And it'll catch white bass, largemouth bass, stripers, hybrids, even a crappie will bite on a bottom bouncing bait. All right, I'm going to catch my breath. While I do that, we're going to check on your fishing reports from the rest of freshwater, the state of Texas. Here's Brian Hughes.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by Wild Point Whitetails. Now, with an intensive breeding program and management in place, Wild Point grows some of the best deer you've ever seen. Not to mention, they have MLD permits and exotics on the ranch, so you can extend your hunting season a little bit longer than you normally might. Now this week, we're going to visit OH Ivy to start. Ivy has given up a lot of Cheryl Lunkers in the past few years, and this season should be no exception. Fish your deeper waters to start each day out on the main lake points and deeper structure. I would try deep diving crankbaits and slow rolling some big red and white spinnerbaits over that offshore structure. Then you can go up to the shallows and fish your plastics. Now, over on Palestine, we have good catfish coming from the bridges. The problem is going to be finding the ramps to launch. You'll need to call ahead and check on Palestine before you try to go. And finally, Texoma smallies, still holding out by the dam. Fish your swim baits, and by that I mean small-bodied bass assassin type lures on a small jig head, and that'll get you smallies on Texoma. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes. Let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. He's on the coast.
Hi folks, this week's report is brought to you by Port Aransas on Mustang Island. Surrounded by pristine bays, estuaries, and the deep blue waters of the Gulf of Mexico, Port A is truly the fishing capital of Texas. Come fish, golf, and play Texas Island style. For more information, visit the website on the screen. Well, the coolest weather of the season hit the Texas coast midweek and resulted in a pattern that is several weeks overdue. The strong north wind has started blowing water out of the marshes and dumping bait into the bays. This is particularly true from Sabine through Galveston, Trinity, Chocolate, as well as East and Matagorda bays. Anglers should key on bird activity and expect to find plenty of trout and redfish underneath. Mid-coast action from San Antonio Bay and the upper Laguna Madre has seen fish holding onto a deeper, more summer-like pattern around shell, grass, and drop-offs. However, with the cooler water temperatures, fish that have been suspended over grass beds and potholes are now starting to make their way towards shallow grassy shorelines. Fishing is improving, so watch the tides, and when they drop out, fish marsh drains and cuts. On the lower coast, Mexiquita Flats, Long Bar, and around the Causeway are seeing the most trout and redfish action. South Bay and the Brownsville Ship Channel are seeing good snook activity. This weekend, both Saturday and Sunday have a double tide schedule of 2 high and 2 low tides each day. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
Man, that's kind of a finesse deal right there. Just gently lift it up on it. Not all that big, but a lot of good white bass in this lake, that's for sure. That's a small, little bitty hybrid. All right. Well, we've got fish working today, so gonna keep on flipping around here with a spoon. Coming up next, gonna give you a tip for how to catch a bunch of these in one spot. They're never alone, and I'll tell you how to make sure that you don't just catch one. Plus, Gary Dollahan's up next with your Oklahoma fishing and lake news. Stay with us. Coming back to Richland Chambers.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Stren, the standard of dependability, by Jean LaRue Lures and Bobby Garland Baits, quality soft plastic baits made in Oklahoma with American pride. Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors, and Mercury Marine.
There's one, got it. Up he comes. All right, everybody, we're still on Richland Chambers Reservoir today. Out a little bit east of Corsicana. Doing a lot of white bass fishing today and catching a few hybrids. I think that's a small hybrid because of the broken lines down his side and maybe a couple of patches of teeth on his tongue. Back he goes, and one of the things I always do, here's you a big tip on locating and finding and catching a lot of these white bass. They're never alone. So always keep a marker buoy out there handy, and when you catch one, pitch that dude right over the side. A lot of times even before you get that fish in the boat, if you'll mark that exact spot, I promise you that there will always be more in that same area. The other thing you want to do is take note of the depth. I'm in 27 feet of water right now. We started off the morning with the fish actively feeding up in 12 to 15 feet of water. But as that sun's gotten higher overhead, it's afternoon now, those fish have gradually moved deeper and deeper off these points and humps. Now they're out in 27 feet of water. Mark your spot, take note of the depth. You can catch a lot of white bass and hybrid stripers. Let's check in now with Gary Dollahan in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma has thousands of ponds, private ponds, city, county, state, lots of ponds all across the state. And man, they are fun fishing this time of year. When you hit the fall months and the fish get really shallow and really active again, you can catch them a lot of different ways in a lot of different places, and that's taking place right now in the state of Oklahoma. I stopped in at Bait Masters in Wagner, Oklahoma to see what they had in the way of reports of their local anglers. While I was there, Terry Hall came in, having just returned from a nearby pond, caught a nice basket of crappie using live minnows underneath the bobber, set about 2 feet underneath that bobber, and a wonderful morning of fishing. The guys at the tackle shop told me that the navigation channel is really good for crappie right now. They said that almost any of the sloughs, just go back in there, look for the stick-ups, drop either a live minnow or a bobby garland baby shad down beside those stick-ups. You're going to catch those fish suspended along those stick-ups. The same thing as far as lake fishing right now all across the state. The crappie reports coming in say those crappie are about 6 to 10 foot deep, either in or above the brush piles. Bass fishing is like it has been for the past several weeks now. Still throw that buzz bait. Spend a lot of time fishing the flats, throwing rattle trap or vibrating type baits, shallow water, close to the main river channel or close to ditches on that. Also throw those soft plastics in and around the isolated pieces of cover. One thing about it, you can't catch them if you don't go.
This week on the Lowrance Hot Lake of the Week, I'm going to show you one of my favorite little out-of-the-way, secluded fishing spots for the upcoming fall months. It's Lake Aquila, located in central Texas. Let's show it to you on the Lowrance HDS-10. Lake Aquila is located about 35 miles north of Waco, Texas. It's just west of I-35 at the FM 310 exit. It's 3,000 surface acres with a max depth of 60 feet, impounded in 1982. Next, we switch to the Navionics Hot Maps Platinum software for all the contours and topo information. There are 2 boat ramps, the Dairy Hill ramp on the east side and the Old School ramp on the west. Next, we zoom to the lower end of the lake with the dam on the south end right here. There is good white bass fishing on these 2 major humps on the main lake, and on these 2 major main lake points. You can catch those on slabs and spoons. Then in the Hackberry Creek arm of the lake, there's a bridge with some good crappie fishing on the bridge pilings and some good standing timber along the creek channel that holds both bass and crappie. Now, I don't know what the boat ramp conditions are. The lake was about 6 feet low the last time I checked, so you might want to check with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers before you head to Lake Aquila in central Texas. That's the Lowrance Hot Lake of the Week. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll have your Ask the Pro, the Big Catch, and the Academy Right Stuff.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Academy. Right stuff, low price, every day. Nitro Performance Bass Boats. Fish your best in a Nitro. Costa Del Mar Sunglasses. See what's out there. And by Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time now for our Ask the Pro feature. Our question this week is from Paul in Texas, who would like to know, when would you use a jig head with a worm rather than a Texas rig? For the answer, let's check with professional angler Woo Dave.
Well, Texas rig worms I'm going to use in cover, grass, laydowns and places like that because they don't hang up. A jig head worm tends to hang up in heavy cover and brush. The jig head worm I like to use more on rocky banks, open water, or fishing deeper water.
Thanks, Woo. If you have a question for one of the pros, just visit our website at southwestoutdoorsreport.com. Click on the Ask the Pro link and send us your information. Now here's Barry with your Whataburger Big Catch of the Week.
There's one. Maybe that'll be a hybrid. All right, hey, here's one more fish for you as we wrap it up today on Richland Chambers, and that's going to be a small hybrid striper. Flop him up here like this. Tell you real quick, your last tip. If you want to catch just a hybrid and you want to try to target the hybrid stripers like that one, let me show you what you do. You simply, instead of dropping it to the bottom and hopping it up and down off the bottom, that's the way you catch a white bass. You make a long cast like I had just done then, let it go to the bottom. Once it gets to the bottom, you crank it 5 or 6 cranks, push the button, let it go back, crank it 5 or 6 cranks, push the button, let it go back. A hybrid will bite that spoon on the swim, not on the hop. That's your key. Hey, it's time right now for this week's Big Catch of the Week winner. He is Cody Emmert of Houston, Texas. Look at this catfish. 74-pound flathead catfish, 64 inches long, 44 inches in girth, caught out of Lake Texoma and caught on a rod and reel and then released. If you would like to enter your big fish photo in our contest, log in under your member account. Once you do that, you have access to the members only area, including my weekly blog, the Chevy Kid Fish upcoming events, the Ask the Pro question, and your big fish photo on the big catch of the week. Time right now for the Academy Right Stuff feature, and let me tell you that you need 2 spoons if you want to try to target the Richland Chambers white bass and hybrid stripers. If you want to catch white bass, then you need the smaller 1/2 ounce jigging spoon or a 1/2 or 1 ounce slab. A little 1.5 inch slab or spoon is perfect for the white bass. However, if you want to target the hybrid stripers, you need to go to a much larger spoon to imitate those bigger threadfin and gizzard shad, either a 4 or 5 inch long jigging spoon or just a swimming spoon of some kind with a treble hook. Those are the 2 baits that you'll need if you want to target these 2 species on Richland Chambers. Let me tell you that we will be on next week on Thursday night at 10:30 p.m. unless the Conference USA football game runs late in the Houston area or unless the Dallas Stars hockey game runs late in the rest of the region. You can always watch the latest episode of our show 24/7 on the front page of our website and watch all the past episodes on our YouTube channel. And you can get a lot of content that you'll never see on television on our Facebook page. You can link to every one of those items right on the front page of our website, just southwestoutdoorsreport.com. That'll get you everywhere. Thanks for joining us this week from Richland Chambers Reservoir. Until next week, I'm Barry Stokes saying be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.